Good morning, good morning. It's Carol Chamberlain in for Leza live on the news 103.5 KYCA. How good it is to see you guys. Matt, hello.
I'm honestly starting to think that Lisa's just not coming back.
Oh, it has been a long time.
Gone forever.
This my new job.
I'm fine with it.
It all works.
Well, I tell you, she is having a delightful time because I've been following her on Facebook. I can't wait to
Yes.
see the slideshow.
Yeah, I'm late. I'm looking at the food they're eating and going, "Oh my God!"
And they had an all-white day, and it's after Labor Day. Did you see that?
I didn't notice that. I'm a slave to fashion, but I just didn't pick up on that.
I mean,
Everybody was dressed in white.
does it count that they're not in the U.S., though?
Oh, probably. I remember looking it up before I went to Italy to see if I could take my white pants. I didn't, but I could have. So there you have it.
Just sounds dangerous.
Oh,
White anything is
yeah.
dangerous.
Oh, well, that's really true. Nothing like strawberry jam on it. So what kind of weekend did you have, Matt?
It was okay. I had fun.
Oh, my God, your enthusiasm is just overwhelming.
Insane.
Hold it back.
It was amazing.
Oh,
So good.
Tell me one amazing thing.
I don't know. I went out jeeping again. That's 2 weeks in a row. It was
Oh.
a short run.
Oh,
And
short
then-
run because you hit something, or a short run because you just?
No, it was just a shorter trail. It was one of the ones near Lynx Lake.
Oh, I got
So it was like only 2 hours instead of like 8.
Okay.
So that was nice.
Oh, 2 hours. 8's too many.
It's a bit of a day. Yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
it's like golf. Ken always said that golf should be 12 holes instead of 18. Perfect round.
And then I went out flying on Saturday, and we had our club meeting and voted on new board members and officers and all that.
Wait a minute. What kind of flying?
RC planes.
Oh, that would be remote control for those of those. us
Yes, out in Chino.
who took a minute.
Yep. No, you got it. You got it.
Very good. So, are you on the board?
Yes, I'm supposed to be a board member at large, so it's a non-elected position, which is good. So not as much responsibility.
And you could back out at any time. Oh, you wouldn't do that.
No. But it's when I have work and things, because most of the guys don't work. You know, they're all retirees.
Oh.
So
that's a
when
nice
I gotta
hobby.
when I gotta work, I can just be like, sorry, I gotta work. And
Okay.
it's not as bad as being like president or anything else.
That's true. So, Drew, what'd you do, Drew? Oh, gosh, I think
Oh.
I caught him on the phone
I think
here.
he's already answering the phone. Yeah,
Oh, my gosh.
that's interesting.
Okay, Drew, what'd you do?
I had a wonderful weekend. I was at a actual 2-day advanced shooting class.
Oh, really?
Yeah, night shooting, low vision shooting. Pretty much the same thing that your police, fire, FBI, CIA guys go through. Shoot, don't shoot scenarios. It was a lot of fun.
So,
Over 700 rounds in 2 days.
oh, my God, I can hear the popping now.
Oh, the scenarios with the simulators. For anybody who's never done anything like this, and I personally have been, involved in handguns and rifles and stuff since, the early 80s. This was like nothing I've ever been through.
Oh, really?
With the simulators and, kind of semi John Wick stuff, where you're going through and somebody pops out with let's say a shotgun, and you only get 2 seconds to figure out what it is, what you need to do, and take your shot.
Oh, my
And
gosh.
you
So
get one.
it's like a video game with you holding a real gun.
Exactly. But the thing is, it's really intense, and it was a lot of fun. And for our peace officers out there that have to go through this training, let me tell you,
Oh, wow.
it's not as easy as you think.
So
And these guys really get it.
where was it?
This one was out at Insight in Prescott Valley.
Oh, gotcha. Oh,
Yeah, they have one of their trainers there. Cody he was a military trainer in the Marines, so he was teaching, sharpshooting, long distance shooting. I mean, this guy he knew everything that there was. A really good trainer.
So what's your choice of weapons?
I like my 9mm.
Oh, nice heft to that. At least I hear. I know
this,
nothing about weapons.
I've got a nice Glock 9mm, and then if you really want to get serious, just go to the 5.7 and be done with it, and go from there.
See, I only read about these in my murder mystery book, so I know a lot about Glocks.
Oh, they're wonderful. I love mine.
So,
Murder mystery books?
Oh.
Wait, hold on. You have to elaborate on that.
oh, I love murder mysteries, psychological thrillers, murder mysteries. Just bring it on. And I also, it's a little sick, but I like those Harlan, I forgot his last name, Netflix series. Somebody Harlan or Harlan somebody. They are really very scary, very mysterious, always a twist at the end. I like that sort of stuff. Ken thinks it's a sickness. So,
We're not into scary.
oh, really? I'm not into horror.
Okay, but you're into scary.
I'm into scary. I used to love horror. It's just gotten too much for me.
Well, it's just so over the top with the violence and the the chainsaws cutting people up and that kind of stuff. It's a little old now.
I don't know if I ever told y'all this, but we had a little brother who we got for Big Brothers Big Sisters when he was 13 years old, and just a delightful young man. And so, we were looking for things to do, and one week we took him to see Ratatouille. Now, I thought that was absolutely fabulous, and so did he, even though he wouldn't, let on about how much he enjoyed it. But he said to me, okay, we went to see one of your choices. How about we get to go see one of mine? And I said, sure, happy to do that. We went to see Saw.
The original or
The original?
15 after it?
I think it was probably the original because it was like 15 years ago.
Yeah, that could have been the original.
Well, anyway, it was pretty gory. I could not believe it. Here's this 13-year-old kid taking me to see Saw, but I sat through it.
Well, the first one wasn't as gory as the preceding ones.
Oh,
They were pretty gnarly. I saw one, last year? Because we do all horror movies in October, so I'm hip deep in horror movies right now. So
hip deep in horror. I really love that. Okay, one of the things that I have to do before we go any further is to congratulate our own Mary Ann Suttles, who had an article in the newspaper today talking about what an extraordinary volunteer she is. And she was nominated by someone on the rodeo, I guess it's board, because she has done so much for them. She has made Wear Pink a proud moment for the rodeo. It was just wonderful to see her recognized. So congratulations to Mary Ann.
yeah, board or community or I don't remember what they call it. Yeah, but yeah, congratulations, Mary Ann.
Yes.
And she'll be here on Friday.
Well,
so
we can
get to
congratulate her.
congratulate her in person.
In person, that will be good. I won't be here, so you'll have to tell her that from me.
We will. But yeah, I remember that's where I first met Mary Ann, way back when I first moved here in 2007, was doing stuff for the rodeo.
She is. And the rodeo
Yep.
dance, one year, Ken and I poured beer for the rodeo dance. I never had done it before, so it takes a little while to get used to doing it. By the time I was done, I had sticky boots. There was beer down my boots, all over my clothes. Not a pretty sight.
Well, you're not supposed to drink it while you serve it, Carol.
Actually, I didn't. I waited till I got home and had scotch.
Oh, there you go.
Who wants to waste their time on that?
Exactly.
Okay, so today is National Cat Day. That one's for my sister, who is a cat person. I happen to be a dog person, along with the other people in this room, I believe. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, cats are the devil.
Well, actually, those black cats are. My sister has a black cat, and I sent her a cartoon yesterday of a black cat with a Darth Vader helmet on with that look on its face. It was hilarious. She emailed me back and said, I know that look. I have it often. Anyway, so I don't know if you know this, but the world's oldest cat. Let me find my note.
I don't, but Drew might.
Oh, thank you.
The allergic man over there. The world's oldest cat lived to be 38 years and 3 days old, named Cream Puff. Can you imagine having a cat for 40 years?
That's amazing.
It really is amazing. I'm just thinking about all the medications that cat had to be injected daily by the time he reached 38 years and 3 days. The average lifespan of a cat is 15 years. Sadly enough, we don't keep our dogs that long. Their lives are 10 to 15 years, but I don't know of any who live to be 15.
I don't know anybody who has a cat that old.
38 years or 15?
15.
Oh,
even.
really?
Well, of course, where we're at, if they get out, then you see the picture on the post, missing cat. Meanwhile, you got the coyotes, the mountain lions, the bobcats. It's
Yeah.
a futile effort to put it up on, but, they did.
You knew exactly where that cat was if it was missing for more than a day. I'm pretty sure.
You're
Okay.
up in the trees. It ain't going to happen.
Okay, so guess what the number one fear, we're going to be talking about some fear because, it's Halloween week. The number one fear of Americans.
Waking up in class just wearing underwear.
No, that's your dream. That is not a fear.
It's a fear too.
That is such a horrible picture in my mind. You have no idea.
Well,
I don't want you imagining me in my drawers, Drew.
I'm trying not to.
at least you have some cover on. So what do you think the biggest one is?
Oh,
Okay, I'm gonna.
I'm at a loss here. There's so many.
Okay, apparently the top spot is taken by the Grim Reaper. Now,
Really?
yeah.
I thought it would have been like spiders or snakes or
Well,
something.
that's coming later, but the fear of dying, isn't that what you think the Grim Reaper is, or is that dying violently? I'm not even sure what the Grim Reaper is.
He's just coming to take you
Yeah.
to wherever you're going.
He's the guy with the hood and
Yeah.
the sickle, and he.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that does just mean you're going somewhere after that. That the one right after that came in second is a surprise to me. It's a fear of heights. But again, not one that I would have thought of.
What about, is water on there, like the fear of drowning?
No, water is not on there. Snakes is up,
Spiders, snakes.
is
I'm sure.
close as a third. Most people are more afraid of public speaking than they are of spiders. Other fears are spaces, enclosed spaces. That makes more sense. Claustrophobia, ghosts, and failure. Only 3% of people in all this survey claim to be fearless. Yeah. Let's drop a snake in their lap and just see what happens.
Yeah.
What about stuffed animals?
I haven't seen that.
Nobody's
Wasn't that
scared
a
of
Chucky
stuffed
thing?
animals? Yeah. Not a Chucky thing, but yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's kind of.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
As a
You
kid.
saw that one.
As a kid, the flying monkeys. That scared me when I was a kid. The Wizard of Oz.
Oh.
The flying monkeys, man. That was like, and a green witch. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that was pretty scary. I do remember that.
Well, I'm just surprised you remember that it was in color because, back then, Drew, when you first saw it in the theaters, it would have been black and white.
Okay, now you're going to get it, Matt.
Oh, my.
As you know, that was the first movie done in color.
true.
And it starts out in black and white, and when she hits her head, she wakes up. That's when color comes in. First movie done in Hollywood in color.
And that was that in the 40s or the late 30s? I don't remember. Anyway,
It was
I wasn't here.
Yeah, I
How
think it was
would
a little
know?
later than that.
It was the 30s, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I got to Google it.
Yeah, go find out when The Wizard of Oz went out.
Okay, staying on a little bit of the Halloween topic, I just want to let everybody know that we are lucky to live in America.
Oh, absolutely.
I just can't imagine not. I will tell you that China is canceling Halloween. Apparently, police in Shanghai are cracking down on Halloween festivities this year because business owners are being told not to throw parties, streets are being blocked off. Anything that has bizarre clothing is in question. It comes after the controversy last Halloween when costumes poked fun at politically sensitive subjects, including COVID-19 and unemployment. Now, I'm not sure how you dress for unemployment. Maybe in your
Just how
underwear.
how I
He's going to
dress
be in his
normally.
underwear.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
But-
funny.
Yeah, no. So Wizard of Oz was August 25th, 1939.
Yeah,
39. Very good.
yeah.
Good, Carol. People we're going to go back to my story about China, okay?
Oh, please.
People were seen over the weekend being escorted out of parties while in costume. And on Chinese social media, a mom says that her son was yelled at for being dressed like a pirate. Her post was quickly taken down by the country's online censors. So let me just say again, how lucky are we to live in America?
People are legitimately being arrested for having fun.
Yes.
Now, there's the fun police right there.
I tell
Welcome to the CCP.
you. Oh,
Yeah,
ooh,
that's-
ooh, it's a scary thought. Okay.
Now that is scary. That's something that's scary.
Absolutely. And that should be number one on our list
Yeah.
instead of the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know about you all, but Ken loves to watch animals eating animals. I mean, he's a real nature show enthusiast. And, you know, late at night, it's like animals eating animals. The chase is the hard part. But anyway, there was a place in Because, Florida, because researchers have been tracking snakes, and they caught an impressive feat: a female Burmese python devouring a 77-pound white-tailed deer whole.
Absolutely.
They've released the footage so you can see it, but apparently the python's mouth was stretched to 93% of its maximum gape to get that thing down. Can you imagine if they were hovering behind watching this happen, and you could hear him saying, "Boy, these are things you don't see every day"? I would say not. And with that little scary thing, we're going to be right back after that for a wonderful conversation, a day in the life of a dentist. Be right back. Good morning again. It's Carol Chamberlain in for the lovely Leza live on the news 103.5 KYCA, welcoming Braden Hicks.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks so much for coming. I hope you all are streaming this because we've got a good-looking guy sitting across from me. Oh, you're not going to say anything.
I'm not saying anything, Carol.
You're just going to have to take my word for it. You're just going to have to.
Here, I'll just leave it on him. There, I'll leave the camera on Braden.
Oh,
And you can talk and then...
Actually, that's a really good idea for all the folks out there. So, Braden, last 2 weeks ago, there was a 2-day conversation going on about teeth in this studio. I don't know if you got to witness any of it.
You know what? I missed that one.
I did. Well, I actually heard it.
I wish I missed that one.
So there are a couple of questions that we're going to ask you to be the judge of. Crest versus Colgate.
So they're both good, but Crest is my preferred.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
they're-
Drew, in your face.
Drew's a happy camper.
He's a Colgate guy.
All right.
Oh, no, you're not? Oh, I thought you were.
Okay, so why Crest?
You know what? They both have about the same. Almost every over-the-counter toothpaste really has the same ingredients. To me, the flavor. That's about it.
Oh.
Because they both do the same thing. Both are good for your teeth. but
Oh, that's
there's
so
so
good to
many
hear.
different ingredients and I guess recipes, if you want to call it.
Oh, that is a good one. A recipe for toothpaste. Okay, the second one I believe was floss before or after you brush.
So before. So if you are just brushing, you're brushing only 40% of the tooth. If you floss, you get that other 60%.
Oh, listen to that. So there's the
I wish Leza was here because I'm winning. This is great.
We're
Well-
doing good, man.
Yeah.
We are, Drew.
Fortunately, this show's being recorded, so she'll get to listen to it. Okay, and the last one is, do you wet your toothbrush before you put paste on it?
You know what? I really don't think that one makes a big difference. So that one's just your preference.
It's a tie.
Yeah.
Or,
That one
do
I'll put
you-
it at a tie.
Or do you wet it at all? Because we had someone call in that said they don't wet it at all.
It doesn't change anything to it because saliva, it's going to
Yeah,
get the
right.
same.
That was their theory, is
Yeah.
that the saliva is just enough.
Oh.
You
That's
don't need
just,
extra water.
Yeah, your own preference.
Oh, actually, it makes it slide so much better. Okay, so thank you for taking care of 2
Well, thanks for
weeks
coming
ago.
in.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I wouldn't do that.
So, Braden, you are a third-generation dentist, fourth-generation dentist.
Yep.
Wow.
So.
So I would ask you whatever made you want to become a dentist, but I guess that's the answer, huh?
That's part of it, definitely. There wasn't a surprise field for me. I did try a lot of other fields before coming into dentistry.
Oh, did you really like
So-
what?
Let's see. There was I actually started undergrad as a geology major.
Whoa, like those rocks, huh?
Definitely. Learned a lot of cool stuff there.
That's nice.
I love the outdoors, so that's part of what brought me to that field.
Oh, you and your dad
yep.
both love that. Oh, it's a family
Yeah,
thing.
it sure is. So.
Okay, after geology.
Firefighting, actually. So looked into
Really?
that. Volunteered with the Glendale Fire Department for a good 4 or 5 months.
Wow.
And
that wasn't
enjoyed
for
it. Enjoyed it.
Mhm.
Thought the paramedic side of that would be really interesting. Looked into medicine.
you. Yeah.
Still came back to the art, the science. What is dentistry?
Actually, that is really neat because truly it is an art.
Mhm.
I mean, somebody once said that the garage door was the smile of your house. So that smiles are just so important on our faces.
They sure are.
So you grew up in Prescott?
I did. And
So PHS, all that stuff?
Yeah, PHS,
Oh.
stayed undergrad at ASU, and then went out to USC for dental school.
Okay, so I think your dad went to USC too, right?
Sure did.
But didn't he go to U of A?
He did.
So what kind of rivalry is there between you all?
It's a split family rivalry because my mom's side of the family is at ASU diehard, and then dad's side is all U of A. So both my brother and I went ASU and
Oh,
a split house.
That's really good. I'd love to see that
Uh-huh.
living room on game day. Okay,
Absolutely.
so I want to know what a day in the life of a dentist looks like. So what time do you get to work?
So we get there at 7:45, or actually it's a split time. So I get there at 7:45. We have a morning huddle, so that's where we just look at the schedule of the day and the day next. In that huddle, it's basically talking about things that we need to get ready for the patients that day. So we are preempting the charts.
Okay.
Because not everybody's a cookie cutter. There's always things that come up that you needed to do something a little differently, even though it's the same procedure.
I can absolutely understand that. So, not you talk about maybe the cases that are coming up to see if somebody has one that might be a little more difficult than the other. You all pitch in.
And making sure we have the right assistant, front desk that's going to answer the questions. I mean, this is the part of that I don't like to talk about, but the financing, that
Well,
part
sure.
comes into play too.
Absolutely,
And
it
different
does.
ways of phasing treatment.
Great. I really do want to delve deeply
Okay.
into what it looks like to be a dentist, but we're going to take a break and be right back so we can get into it. Good morning again. It's Carol Chamberlain in for Leza Live on the News 103.5 KYCA. Lucky to have our guest with us, Braden Hicks of Hicks Dental Group. I think that's what you're called. Wonderful practice. I can attest to it. So we talked about how you start your day with a confab, and then what do you do next? What does a typical day look like for you?
So a lot of fillings, a lot of exams, and there's always some crown work in there as well. But most of that comes with proper treatment planning. So I think that's the first thing, or the next thing I would say. So yeah.
Yeah, actually, it would probably be the first thing because
Yeah.
they wouldn't need that crown. Hello,
Absolutely.
Carol.
Mhm.
If in fact you had taken care of it earlier.
Absolutely.
So, what would you say is the scariest thing you've ever encountered as a dentist?
Let's see. So scariest thing. So I mean, there's a couple infections that do get out of hand that you do see, and with Prescott, we're pretty fortunate here with a great specialist team and specialist, I guess, family, if you want to call them that. And you are able to kind of navigate those medical complications pretty well here in town.
Okay, so you think that like a root infection or
Yep.
a gum infection is really the biggest emergency for you?
Biggest emergency, it can be a whole slew of different things, but whenever there's anaphylactic kind of response, that's when things are a little different, where you do have to kind of take the medical side into.
Oh, absolutely. Have you ever seen somebody have an anaphylactic reaction to deadening?
The numbing, or
Mm-hmm,
no, not to the numbing.
Okay.
People will get that kind of increased heart rate, the flutter,
Yeah.
but that's just a side effect of numbing. So
Oh,
unfortunately, not a anaphylactic. You're not
that's
too worried
actually-
about it. It's just a
so
given time.
it's the infections that
Mhm.
bother you the most, because I
Yeah.
guess we don't think about that, because if that happens, then the tooth goes.
Sometimes that's the option. Sometimes you can save it with other types of treatment, but overall, it's kind of phasing it. Emergency dentistry is what dentistry kind of gets the cowboy aspect to it. So you don't want to be in the wild, wild west of emergencies.
Oh, so actually, that brings me up to a great point. We talked earlier about scary shows, and one of the scariest things I ever saw was a show called The Marathon Man.
I
Did
don't
you
think
ever
I've
see it?
seen that one.
Oh,
I know.
do you?
Marathon Man.
Oh my gosh, it's with Dustin Hoffman.
Yes.
So
I've seen that, yes.
Dustin, I know Drew's seen it because he is in there grinning and nodding his head. It's one of the scariest things I've ever seen because they tortured him with a drill.
Oh, no.
And so that's so many people developed fears of dentists because of what used to be. I'm guessing people shouldn't have that same fear.
They shouldn't, and that's actually a good learning point of school. They do take a full class on just iatrosedation. So basically, no medications. It's just how you talk to the patient, how you build that relationship, how you can talk through most things, and then there always are the medicated routes.
Well, yeah, and truthfully, once you get there, it's really okay. I guess for some, it's just the fear of going. Actually, Ken and I ran into a fella who was at our house just not too long ago with a huge swollen jaw and really needed to get in to see somebody and didn't until it went down. Now, I'm wondering where it went to because that infection's still around somewhere. But he was too afraid of a needle to go to the dentist. Do you encounter that much?
All the time, and unfortunately, I think it's a thing of the past that your experience as a kid is still with you today.
Oh, see, I'm so sorry about that because it's just so much easier and so much better. And truthfully, I mean, we've all heard the statistics that dentist suicide rates really way up there. Is that still true?
It still is a stressful job. I don't know where that stat is anymore, but I think it is getting better with proper anesthetic, proper, I guess, mental health even. So that's more talked about.
I thoroughly agree with that. And I think it's so neat the way you talked about involving your patients in their treatment regime and calming them down, because truly it's not just the needle.
No.
It really is the overall experience that makes it a better one. Okay, so let's get into some really critical things. How can a person improve their smile?
Let's see, a lot of different options there. So usually it starts with photos. And so that's a huge part of our practice where new patient exams, we are taking lots of photos. And at the time, to the patient, they probably seem useless, but that's where you get most patient education from.
Oh, that's neat.
and
And
X-ray,
actually,
yeah.
I've experienced that.
Yep.
It's a wonderful thing.
But X-rays, that's something we look at day in, day out. But I know as a patient point of view, we don't see those often in our everyday life. So a picture is more relatable.
Gotcha. So you start with a picture, and then you make recommendations for improving that smile.
So you do, and I mean, as dentists, we are trained in head and neck anatomy and just what the facial form should look like. So that's where we are analyzing faces. That's just what we do every day.
Wow. Wow. So what do you do to make those teeth look prettier? I mean, we'll talk about the health of them in
Yep,
a moment,
absolutely.
but to look prettier, what do you do?
So starts with, I guess, the pictures, but usually it's as simple as drawing where the teeth should be in the smile. So that's where you start almost every case. If you can do that and you make the teeth in the right position, the rest of the pieces fall into place.
That really is, it's amazing. And some of the things that you now do, and I know this from experience, as we get older, sometimes our gums shrink a little and the top of that tooth doesn't look the way it's supposed to be. You fill those now.
You can, and again, that's one of the many options, but each, I don't want to say that's the one option you have, but that's one of the many that works really well.
Actually, it surprised me a lot because in the past you could look at that and say, oh, those don't last, don't do that. And now we know that it's not the truth. Okay, so we have begun our neat smile. We'll be back to talk about more right after this. Hello again. It's Carol Chamberlain in for Leza Live on the News 103.5 KYCA, talking with dentist Braden Hicks, fourth generation dentist in his family. So during the break, Matt asked a question about whether or not you'd ever seen anybody who didn't ever have a filling in their lives, and you said?
Absolutely. So we've had a couple patients that, funny enough, have probably been with the practice for 4 generations, and they're in their hundreds, 102, no cavities, no fillings, still all their natural teeth.
I tell you what. So you think that is genetics or the luck of the draw or what?
So genetics, I can't say that doesn't play
Sure.
a point or a part of the picture, but a lot of the times there's certain types of bacteria. So to break it down pretty simply, there's gum disease bacteria, there's tooth disease bacteria.
Huh.
One causes cavities, one causes gum disease. And some people are more predisposed to one or the other. With proper home care, proper dental visits, you can manage those. But some people do get lucky, if you want to call it luck.
That is luck.
Yeah.
So you're talking about these two bacteria that cause
Mhm.
different things. So is there an oral care regime that can keep those at bay?
So for cavities, I still strongly believe in fluoride. I think fluoride in your natural toothpaste, drinking water, I think it does make a big difference. Topical fluoride, more into life we get, it still works, but it's going to be treating around crowns, fillings, that
Oh,
sort of
sure.
thing.
Sure.
Makes you a little bit lower risk on that. With gum disease, regular maintenance, that's one of the biggest things. So we talk about 3-month cleanings, 4-month cleanings, and 6 months. Some people can go further than that, but it's typically recommended in those 1 of 3 spots.
Okay, so I'm a twice a year person.
Mhm.
My husband is a quarterly person.
Mm-hmm.
Is that that's your recommendation?
It is. And so when we look at the oral cavity, we look at the tissue health. If we see, you know what, the tissues are doing really well, our home care is really important to that. So flossing, brushing. If you do use a water pick, using that prior to each of those. So it doesn't change them. It's water pick, floss, then you can brush.
Oh my gosh.
So-
Okay, well, so after that,
Mhm.
what about mouthwash? Do you recommend that?
I'm not a huge believer in it. I don't think it's a bad thing typically ever. Some of the alcohol products do dry the mouth out, which is not what we want.
Not good.
But that does give you that mouthfeel of clean. So it is maybe a little bit more of a marketing term or use.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes you feel
It feels clean.
minty.
Mm-hmm.
Or it burns the devil out of you if you use one of those products that
So true.
I know there was a debate about.
I just really want Leza and Brandon Montoya to listen to this show because clearly I'm
Yeah.
winning here.
Yeah.
I really
He called me up
loved
before and gave me the pointers to talk
That's,
about.
yeah, that's what it is. I called Braden last night.
during his yeah. Okay, so in all of what we're talking about, let's get down to one of the really important ones. How do you keep them whiter?
Oh, that one's a good one. So there are, I would say, you've got a lot of staining foods. So those are blueberries, red wine, so many different things that stain the teeth. Rinsing with a simple rinse or water afterwards, after eating any of those, can definitely go a long way.
Really?
So coffee, definitely, if you just rinse with water, basically bring the pH of your mouth back to around a 7. That's where you want to be.
Okay.
That does a ton to whiten. Beyond that, I'm still using a lot of trays. So if we do have a custom form tray to the teeth and you use the whitening solution, it's going to work. It just depends on the time frame. Everybody's a little different.
Everybody is a little different, and I remember using my trays a little over abundantly, and it can just burn the devil out of you.
It can, and usually that doesn't harm the tooth. When we see that harming the tooth is when we don't listen to our body. If it is a little tender, lay off the whitening for a couple of days, use some fluoride in the toothpaste, kind of put it on top of the tooth. Vitamin E on the gums can always help a burn like that too. So that's another option you can do.
It was really pretty interesting.
Yep. So
Anyway,
it'll go away.
and it did. Thank you very much.
Mm.
So let's go back a minute to talk about fluoride.
Mhm.
I mean, when we were kids, when I was a kid, there was no question there was fluoride in the water. Period.
So not in every community,
Even when I was a kid?
even now.
Oh,
So,
even now. I
yeah,
know that
yeah.
since my childhood,
Uh-huh.
there has been some question about whether it's safety,
Ooh.
I guess. Is that right?
So with anything in life, I think moderation, or maybe not moderation, not overdoing it. So that's
Right.
kind of where I think that conversation gets blown out of proportion. Simple, I think topical use, it's going to work, but it is something that you don't want to ingest too much.
What happens if you? I don't
Upset
even
stomach.
know. Okay, okay.
And I know there's a lot of other.
It doesn't make you glow in the dark.
No, not quite that much.
Fluoride,
Yeah.
fluorescent. You have to be careful
Close.
of all that. So, is it in our city water?
It is.
Oh,
Prescott does have it. I don't believe Flagstaff does.
huh.
So
That's so that really it becomes sort of a political football, I'm sure.
it sure does. And if you didn't want to do fluoride, there are so many other ways of cleaning the teeth, remineralizing, calcium phosphate's another option that you have.
So you were talking about blueberries and wine and stuff staining.
Yep.
Are there diet considerations to consider for the health of your mouth and teeth?
So staining, it won't kill you. So
Right.
I think all of those food groups, like blueberries, they're great for you. I wouldn't turn
Right.
away from a blueberry if
Right.
we were worried about that.
But are things that could crack your teeth? Are there
Okay.
some mechanical things that we have to watch for?
There are. It is tricky when you get into that because each person has different strength of their bite,
I gotcha.
different strength of tooth. Also, if there's a lot of restorations, that comes into play too.
Oh, of course it does. And I can tell you, it is a teeth strength thing. My sister was a biter when she was a kid, so I know about teeth strength. Okay, we're going to have to take a break. We'll be back right after this. So again, it's Carol Chamberlain in for Leza Live on the News 103.5 KYCA, talking with Braden Hicks, and happy to be doing it. So we've been talking about teeth and mouths and all that. I want to talk about another area of your practice that I am familiar with, and that is that you do injectables and fillers in the face.
We do.
So, what qualifies you for that? You're a mouth man.
Yep. So I guess this goes back to school, but we've taken a lot of head and neck anatomy, and when we look at a smile, that's only part of the face, and you can only go so far with teeth. Sometimes it is the facial structures, I guess, what surrounds the teeth. So the lips, the smile, and of course we get into all those products that can help with those things.
That they absolutely can help, and I was delighted to hear that you were doing it. So, most of the time when you're doing that, do you do? I don't think you use Botox, but it's one of those products.
Yep. Xeomin. Yep.
And is that what you use most, like on the forehead? And
So you can use it for forehead wrinkles. You can use that for. So TMJ is originally what got me into it, because you can calm some muscles around people having that type of tenderness on the muscle level.
And TMJ is, I understand, very painful.
It's irritating. It's ongoing. So it is something that is one treatment. Couple patients that love it. They're on a schedule. They get it, and they don't have the headaches. They don't have the migraine sort of things that they used to.
Actually, that's really great to know. There's another one that causes great facial pain that's called trigeminal neuralgia.
Sure.
And that is a horrible, horrible thing.
Sure is.
Does that sort of medication work for that?
That one would not. There are other medications that do, but that one's a tricky one because it feels like tooth pain, and it's not. It's nerve pain.
Oh, it is nerve pain, and golly, there's nothing worse than that. I just can't imagine, actually. Yeah. So we've talked about forehead, sides of the eyes. Do you use filler as well?
So not currently using filler in the practice.
Okay.
Just the Xeomin or Botox products. But it is something that potentially in the future we will get into, but right now it's not.
So one of the things that I had heard about, and I actually talked to you about, is the fine lines that are around people's mouths from, I don't know, it used to be from smoking, but we don't do that much.
Yep.
We don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And using a straw and all that stuff. Can you use Botox around the mouth?
So you can use Botox around the mouth, not for what are called smoker lines. Sometimes you can do filler in those areas. Sometimes even moving the teeth can help.
Oh, really?
So there are ways of...
That sounds pretty drastic to have to move your entire teeth to get rid of those.
Yep.
Okay, so you told me that you shouldn't do it in your upper lip because it can cause the muscles to relax and you cover your old front teeth.
So that's, I guess, person to person, because some people show a lot of tooth.
Right.
Some people don't show much tooth, and you can either build to that optimal level of tooth showing, because there is an optimal level. A couple millimeters is what we want to see at rest, and when we smile, you want to see the tooth.
I gotcha. And it's interesting because for those people who have like half their smile is gum and half is teeth,
that's
effective.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So that's one of the better recommendations, because if we move the tooth, that's one way of doing it too, but there's a limit to how far you can move.
Right. And I tell you, that is a wonderful thing, I believe, to help people cover up those gums.
Yep.
Okay, so where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
Ooh, still here in Prescott, so that's good.
Oh, that's a great thing for me.
And as of practice, I know we are growing and we are still taking new patients, but I'll be here, and we potentially have 2 cousins of mine that are joining the practice, but they're still in dental school, and it's another 4th generation add-on.
Oh my gosh. Well, talking about a family practice, how do you feel about cousins coming in?
Great. That's kind of keeping to the same moral fiber of the practice so far.
I gotcha. So speaking of the practice, we know that it's the Hicks Dental Group. Give us your phone number.
So you can reach us at 928-445-6030 or hdg@hicksdentalgroup.com.
That is absolutely wonderful, and I can attest to the fact that it is a really fabulous dental group. So tell us one more time what your phone number is.
Okay, at 928-445-6030.
And if there is one last tip you want to give people out there about their dental hygiene, it would be?
I guess maintenance is key. Preventative dentistry is the way to keep those teeth.
That is wonderful. So remember, you all go in at least twice a year to get your teeth checked and cleaned, and we'll all have wonderful smiles. It's been fabulous being with you, and we will see you again tomorrow morning on Leza Live. See you then.